Hey guys, Jason here, Word to the Wise. So, I made my Tyre Ezekiel 27 video yesterday, thinking that Tyre was some sort of a type and shadow of Babylon. But after doing further research and even thinking that I was going to erase my Mystery Babylon series, now I am not going to erase that. Because the more I tried to make sure I was right in the Tyre video, something else hit me. Tyre was the merchants. They were selling things. When I went into Chronicles, or 2nd Chronicles chapter 2, it begins in 1st Chronicles chapter 22. David is getting cedar delivered from Tyre and Sidon. And Solomon picks up the building of the temple. Even though God told David not to do it. So Solomon picked up and he started bringing things in. So it starts pretty much in chapter 2 in 2nd Chronicles. And you can read through the preparation, and it goes on and on and on. He even brings in musicians, harpers, flutists, whatever they call that. And now going back into Revelation 18, I was listening to it a couple times today, actually. And let me just see if there are... Yeah. With such violence, the great city of Babylon will be cast down, never to be seen again. And the sound of harpists and musicians and flute players and trumpeters will never ring out in you again. Nor will any craftsman of any trade be found in you again, nor the sound of a millstone be heard in you. Now, when you go into 2nd Chronicles, he gets all sorts of goldsmiths, silversmiths, ironsmiths, woodworkers, people that are inlaying ivory into wood planking. I mean, gold doors. He's getting all sorts. He's getting giant pools made, cows made up. He's having all these things, idols being made in this temple. Which once I started, all I did was a search for Tyre, because I wanted to see everything that Tyre had to deal with in the Bible, since the king of Tyre was so, kind of an amazing verse in that Ezekiel 28. I recommend anybody go through that and just scan over that. You'll be pretty amazed at what is said in that chapter. But I want to make this on Revelation 18. Now, we've all read through Revelations. We know Revelation 18, Mystery Babylon, but it wasn't until I was listening to it really careful that I heard a key word. Now, I'm the kind of literal person. When somebody asks me a question and I do it, and then they say, well, why didn't you do that? And I say, well, because you said this. So it's kind of like a smart alecky thing. But listen to this. Let me see where I can start this to make the best point. Whoa, whoa. So this is the quote. The kings of the earth who committed sexual immorality and lived in luxury with her, will weep and wail at the sight of the smoke rising from the fire that consumes her. In fear of her torment, they will stand at a distance. So that's the kings will stand at a distance while the fire is consuming Babylon. So the quotes, woe, woe to that great city, that great and the mighty city of Babylon, for in a single hour your judgment has come. Sorry, I'm like bouncing on my leg here. It's probably shaking me all over the place. Woe, woe to that great city, for the mighty city of Babylon, for in a single hour your judgment has come. Now, this is verse 11 after the quote is done. And the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, because there is no one left to buy their cargo. Now that hit me, their cargo. You're not buying Babylon's cargo, you're buying the merchants of the earth. The merchants of the earth that sold the cargo to Babylon. They're not going to make that money anymore, because their cargo, the cargo of gold, silver, precious stones, pearls, and fine linen. So they go through that list of all the things that Babylon was buying. Not that Babylon was producing it. The fruit of your soul's desire has departed from you. All your luxury and splendor have vanished, never to be seen again. The merchants who sold these things and grew their wealth from her will stand at a distance. Now, this is the Berean Study Bible. It reads like normal wording. It's not that old English fancy pants writing. I can't stand trying to read that and decipher what the woes and the ye's and thee and thou and he would do. It's too confusing. And this mirrors the Strong's, which I always say. They will weep and mourn, saying, Woe, woe is that great city, clothed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in a single hour such fabulous wealth has been destroyed. And the shipmasters and the passengers and the sailors and all those who make their living from the sea will stand at a distance. So, there again. And the merchants, and so this is verse 11. Anybody watching this, please get out a Bible. This reads pretty much the same in the King James version or whatever version you're reading. I don't know the Old English. I don't trust the new international, whatever those other verses are. I don't really try to deal with all those others, because when you get that list on like Bible Hub and it shows just a verse and has it in every different kind of Bible writing, you can see the differences of interpretations. And I would rather stick with the King James than go with the newer English standards and all that, because sometimes those are completely different. So I'm not looking for somebody's new interpretation of an old writing. But so, I mean, that is the biggest thing here. If you go from verse 9 down to verse 14 or 15, the merchants who sold these things and grew their wealth from her will stand at a distance. That's verse 15. And the merchants of the earth, this is verse 11, the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, because there is no one left to buy their cargo. So I don't know how we miss that so much. But then now when you go and look at Tyre and Sidon in Ezekiel 27, you'll see that list of all these things that Tyre produced. They were the merchants. When you go and look at 2 Chronicles, when Solomon starting to build the temple, and I just scanned through real quick before making this, probably for about half an hour. If you go into 1 Chronicles 22, which is just amazing, but it begins, and you'll see the Sidonians and the Tyrians. They are bringing, that's how it all begins. They start bringing in the cedar, because David lives in a house of cedar, and he's got the Ark of the Covenant sitting out in a tent. And he says, I want to build God, the Lord, a house for the Ark of the Covenant. And then the Lord comes to Nathan, his servant, that night and tells him to tell David, since I brought the Israelites out of Egypt, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing. I didn't memorize the verse or anything, but he says to them, "It's like I've never really resided in a house. I've gone from tent to tent, from dwelling to dwelling. You know, I'm not here asking for a house to be built." So they start doing this. David starts doing this on his own, and even brings, then he tries to start numbering the people in his kingdom, and that brings a lot of anger from the Lord. And he brings a plague that even lets him choose multiple choice. He says, you can do one of these few things, and he chooses. And I believe he chooses the sword of the Lord versus 3 months at the hands of men. So with that, I'll try to put these verses, I'll definitely copy these, and I'll put these in the description for you to look at, and then I'll put the chapters with the verses of the building of the house, and I'll try to relink the Ezekiel 27. I'll put that in the hyperlink for you guys, but check it out. Word of the wise. God bless you guys. Good night.